Hey, my name is Parker. I'm the guy that made the Nomo app, and I am in a Target parking lot right now. And I don't know. I was inside Target, and I thought about like kind of an inspiration of like I wanted to talk about Nomo and something called BetterHelp, which I will talk about in a second. But before I do, first of all, a couple things. Number one, cars are driving by, so I'm going to be looking all around. Number two, my voice cracks. Sorry about that. Number three, I've got to be home pretty soon, so I'm going to make this as fast as possible. And if I stumble on something, I'm just going to push through it. Okay. Nomo is, if you don't know this, Nomo is an app that I made like 6 years ago, and it's something that I made because I needed an app that does what it does, and it just became a really cool, nice big thing, which has been really neat. It is a passion project. It's not my full-time job. It is something that I do on the side out of pure love. And there are ads that run at the bottom of Nomo that are Google ads, and they just kind of help offset the cost of running the app just a little bit. But running an app is very expensive. So when this company called BetterHelp reached out to me and asked me if I wanted to be an affiliate, that was a really cool thing because, what they do is essentially if you become a member of BetterHelp, they will then help offset the cost of Nomo even more than what Google ads can. So I just wanted to be completely transparent upfront on that part of this conversation right now. So they reached out to me back in February of 2019, and they said, we'd love to partner up with you essentially, and because the users of Nomo could benefit from BetterHelp. BetterHelp is online therapy. So I was like, okay, that sounds like an actually really good thing. And I've heard of BetterHelp, and tons of podcasts and YouTube videos I've seen they've sponsored. So this was kind of like a no-brainer for me. But I asked them, can I get a free account so I can try it out before I tell anybody about it, because I don't want to just, I don't want to go out there and promote it and then it turns out it's complete garbage. So they did. They hooked me up with a free account, which was really great. And it essentially what you do is you fill out like a little survey, and it'll just ask you questions like kind of like, where are you at in life? How do you feel about the future? Are you, married? Do you have kids? What's your faith and all that stuff like that. And essentially based on what you answer, different questions will pop up. But what it does, it narrows it down and then matches you with a licensed therapist in your area. And you don't have to go with the one they match you with. You can say, nah, you read the person's profile and you can say, nah, that's not interesting. I don't want that person. I'm going to go with somebody else. Luckily, the first person it matched me with was actually an old lady. And I read through her profile and was like, okay, let's do this. This will be great. And I want to make it really clear. I've never done therapy before, and it's something that I've avoided like the plague. I just didn't want to. I don't know. I've no problem, going to a meeting. I have no problem going, meeting up with a sponsor, all that kind of stuff. That's great. Going to therapy for some reason was just something I just did not want to do. And this gave me a reason, right? Because I want to try this out before I say anything to people about it. So, anyway, so I did a phone call with this lady. Her name is Pat, and I called up Pat, and let me talk about how this works. It's anonymous, which is really, really neat. So all Pat gets is basically your username that you fill out, and then any communication you have with Pat or with your therapist, for me it's with Pat, it goes through the BetterHelp system. And they've got this really cool way of, for phone calls, you go to the site or in their app, you say I'm ready for the phone call session, they'll call you and they'll call Pat, and then they'll link the calls together, and then you can talk to Pat or your therapist. I'm just gonna say Pat, okay? So that's code for therapist. And when you message, they have a messaging system inside their app, and they also have a video chat feature inside their app. So Pat and I had our first conversation, which is really great. Got to know each other. She kind of asked me questions, kind of what do I want to get out of this therapy session, this relationship that we're gonna have, and was it like, do you want advice? Do you want resources? What are you looking for? And I kind of said, I need help just processing my thoughts. It's something that I don't want to put on my wife. My wife has dealt with a lot with me, right? So a lot of our spouses are significant others. When you're dealing with somebody who has any kind of addiction problem, they deal with a lot. So I said, I'd like to just be able to vent and then have help me organize my thoughts, and it's about everything with life. I mean, there's nothing really specific, but just kind of like kids, money, jobs, marriage, all that kind of stuff. I should have really thought about the lights before I did this, but okay. Okay, so anyway, so So we talked about scheduling. We talked about kind of like what the best method of communication would be. And for me, it was kind of like, okay, this would be really good if I could just do the messaging system instead of the phone call part. And she said, okay. And we scheduled a time that worked for both of us. And it became a thing where it was kind of like Tuesdays at noon. So Tuesday is my lunchtime. And that's when I would just kind of bust out my phone and have a conversation, an hour-long conversation with Pat about whatever was going on. And to me, it was surprisingly helpful. It was BetterHelp, right? BetterHelp than I've had before, because it's just kind of like nice to be able to talk to a professional. She knows the questions to ask, and kind of how to do that, how to help process the thoughts and the life. And it's just kind of, you know what it's like when you're able to finally just kind of vent or just admit something or something like that. It's just kind of a relief to talk about that kind of stuff. So, anyway, so we got February, March, April, May, June, July, August. So I think August. So 7 months. 7 months in, I decided this is great, and this is something that I do feel comfortable telling everybody about in the Nomo community. So I put it inside the app. It's on the homepage. It says online counseling. It's one of the resources inside the resource page, and it's something that I really, if I did not have a free account, it's something that I would be continuing to pay for. So it does cost money, and it is something that's like they say on their site, it's about half the cost of a walk-in therapy session. So when you do regular walk-in therapy with a regular therapist, it costs more because they're going to charge you for using the facility, taking up all that stuff all the time and all stuff like that. So this is just easier and it's more convenient, almost like the Uber of therapy. So let's see, what else was there? There's a couple points I wanted to hit. So it is anonymous, like I said. Okay, so let's say that you don't like your therapist. Luckily, I did. My first therapist that I got hooked up with was awesome, but they say, and a lot of other people said, you're not always going to be hooked up with the first person you get is not always going to be the best. So what you want to do is be able to switch therapists, essentially. And they let you do that inside on the website. So if you don't like your therapist, you can just swap them out for another one. I'll admit I'm the kind of guy that I kind of avoid confrontation. So if like I'm at Subway and they put mustard on my sandwich and I didn't ask for it, I probably won't say anything and I'll just deal with it. So in that, someone like me, when you don't like your therapist, you just kind of deal with it, and that's not good. Well, in this situation, if I didn't like Pat, I could click a button and switch to somebody else. Pat would probably get an automated message that says I left the therapy, session with her, and I'm going to be using somebody else. And she doesn't have my contact information. So it's kind of like, oh, this is, you could do that. You shouldn't. You should have a conversation with them first, but that's there. And I don't know why. I just feel like that's an important thing to say because find somebody that works for you is what's really important. Okay. So there's that. And then, yeah, I hope it's helpful to you. I think I already said this, but therapy is something that I never wanted to do before. And now it's something that I don't know if I could do without, especially in the BetterHelp system that they have with the messaging. That's been really helpful for me. Check with your insurance to see if they can cover it. If they can't, I don't know what your situation is, but I will say that a lot of people that use the Nomo app will mark down kind of how much they're saving each month by not, spending money on their habit. And people post pictures on Facebook all the time. And one of the reoccurring themes is people saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is how much money I've saved this month. To be honest, if you're really trying to beat whatever habit or addiction or hang up that you have, and you're saving money by not doing that, put some of it towards therapy. Maybe it's not with BetterHelp. Maybe it is with a walk-in therapist and that works for you. Great. But if you're saving $1,000 a month or something like that, that's not how much it costs, but I'm just saying, put a little bit of that towards getting yourself help, better help. No. So anyway, there's links in the description of this video. If you go in the app, there's usually a little banner ad at the bottom, or it'll say on the homepage, online counseling. It's in the resources. It's kind of everywhere. The important thing is if you do go to BetterHelp, please click on the link because that lets them know that you came from Nomo, and that just really helps out the app. And other than that, I really hope it's just a helpful resource. If it's something that you're not interested in at all, but you've listened to this whole video, I appreciate that. But it might be helpful for you. It might be helpful for somebody that you know. So I don't know how to end this video. I'm just going to end it right now. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for using my app. And I hope this is helpful to you. And I will see you later, I guess. I don't know how to end this. Thanks, bye.